Hello and welcome back to the Hibs Observer post-match reaction with myself, Liam Bryce, joined by Declan Tumblety after Hibs 2, somehow Kilmarnock 2 here at Easter Road. A really kind of baffling turnaround in this game, to be honest, from first half to second. Hibs got 2 goals up inside the first 30 minutes via Rocky Bashiri and Eli Yuan on his first start since Boxing Day last year, and really for for half an hour of that game, possibly even up towards 40 minutes, it's as good as I think I've seen Hibs going forward under David Gray. You can see confidence was high, everybody wanted the ball, everybody was working off the ball, and then it took just Liam Polworth to pull one back for Kilmarnock 5 minutes before the interval, and then 3 minutes after the restart. It has to be said, an incredible volley from an 18-year-old Ben Brannan to pull Kilmarnock level, and from there Hibs just did not look anything quite like what they had been in the first half display, and just how they've looked in general, to be honest, for so long over these last few months. There was a bit of hesitancy crept into their play. They didn't look so sure of themselves. Kilmarnock could have and probably should have pounced and made more of some of the unforced errors that Hibs offered up to them in that second half. It was a kind of, as the time wore on, sort of one-way traffic as Hibs piled the pressure on to try and get a winner in the closing stages. But it finished 2-2 here at Easter Road. Declan, it's a difficult one to make sense of.
I know, it was a confusing second half, because I remember I said to you at half time that the game would end 2-1. I was thinking 3-4-1 Hibs, but I think it's lucky that there was only 2-2. I think questions about how Kilmarnock didn't score, especially like we said about mistakes, a bit of nervousness at the back for ourselves. I'm surprised they didn't take advantage of that, to be honest.
Yeah, so we'll touch on the first half for a bit and then we'll get to the second half. Obviously, there were elements of that first half that was really, really good. David Gray made 3 changes to the team that beat Partizan 2-0 on Thursday night. The debut for Grant Hanley at left centre back. He replaced Jack Iredale in the team. Also in came Junior Hoylett. He played just behind that front two of Kieran Bowie, not Mark Boyle, and Eli Yuan, as I said. So 3 changes there. It was Boyle who dropped out, and Cascaden dropped out. We saw Josh Mulligan move over to right wing back. He eventually, I think, finished the game in midfield. Mulligan was named the sponsors man of the match. I thought he was very good on the day. I think in that first half there were some really, really good performances. Hoylett had one of those games where he just makes it look as though he's playing at a different tempo to everybody else. Like, everything is much slower for him. He can see pictures and stuff before they happen. Eli Yuan, I thought, looked pretty sharp. Got himself a goal. Rocky Bashiri coming up with another goal. I thought Hanley he slotted in pretty comfortably. Dylan Levitt was good again. Kieran Bowie's doing what he's doing. So, I mean, 2 goals in the first half an hour. Probably should have been more.
I think so. I think on the 2 goals, I think Jim McGrath did really well for the delivery.
Yeah, McGrath as well. McGrath was good.
Just to find Rocky that back post. And then we said it was Hoylett slotting through Yuan.
Yeah, Hoylett.
But no, they definitely could have had a couple more. I think there was a couple half chances you maybe now wishing that you'd put away in the end.
Yeah, Mulligan had one that went just past the post, I think.
Kieran Bowie had one. I think within the only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's similar to that first goal at Dundee.
Yeah, he snatched at a couple today, Bowie. I felt he wasn't quite as composed as he was when those chances came his way up at Dens Park. But again, he was, in the first half especially, he was very effective in doing what he does. Hoylett was very good. Almost scored a header, Junior Hoylett had, so that was another one, header on target. There was a couple of sort of just wee nearly moments here and there. Hoylett had one that he sort of whipped, kind of reversed it after some brilliant play. Yeah, he sort of gave the keeper the eyes almost, and you thought it was just going to nestle in the corner, that one. But I mean, from there, the goal and the cusp of half time, it was a bit slack. It came from a wee bit of overplaying, didn't it? I think there was clearly a lot of confidence in the team at that point, but then you've got to strike that balance, haven't you? And it did come from a wee bit of overplaying, do you think?
I think so, because it felt a bit of a bobble around the box as well. It wasn't like a clean ball across and finish. It was very sort of pinball, wasn't it, in that box?
Yeah, and it's kind of the second week in a row as well that Hibs have, they've been on top, scored 2 goals, and then given away a cheap goal pretty, soon after. Obviously, it didn't Dundee were so I felt really sort of negative and kind of unambitious last week that it didn't really matter. But it gave Kilmarnock something to chase, and it's unlike this Hibs team to be giving away cheap goals, isn't it?
I know, but I think that was one thing I noticed that changed from that whole dynamic, going the back three when everything sort of got better last season. I thought we looked so much more assured defensively, and you're not giving away these cheap goals that cost us so much at the start of last season. So it's a bit worrying to see it coming back, but it was just a little blip.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's all it is. And then I suppose the second goal is it's goal of season.
I'm not going to be surprised if that is goal of the season in May. That was...
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Kilmarnock's young Ben Brannan, only 18 years old, so obviously that's a brilliant moment for him. But from there, as we sort of touched upon and alluded to at the start of the show, it just seemed to bring a sort of hesitancy and a nervousness into Hibs game. There was a kind of lot of unforced errors from there on, people giving the ball away. I don't think Jordan Smith had a particularly good day in terms of his distribution. He put the team under pressure a few times, but I mean, saying that, he wasn't the only culprit.
No,
definitely it seemed to creep in across the team.
I think the communication at the back looked a bit off with sort of like coming from Smith's distribution as well. But I remember in the first half there was a time down there, balls bobbling, Rocky sort of signalling for Smith to come and collect, and he doesn't do it, and then Rocky to put it out. It's just it looked a bit. I think something's off today at the back.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because I'd forgotten all about that, because I mean that wee moment came at a time where Hibs were in general very much on top, but I suppose it did show you that there was maybe something a wee bit lacking in terms of cohesion. And then from then on, there was changes made for Hibs to try and to go on and maybe get a winner. Obviously, Grant Hanley, we didn't expect him to play the full game. He was replaced by Jack Iredale. Ellie Ewan in his first start, he came off as well. On came Martin Boyle. On came Josh Campbell, Chris Cadden. But I think maybe the most eye-catching thing was, did you maybe expect to see Thibaut Clige come on for a bit? I mean, because it was only for stoppage time that he came on, and then you pointed out as well that I don't know if there was potentially some sort of problem with Bowie because he limped off at the end. So whether he was even going to get on at all, Clige, I'm not sure. But in the end, he only got 3-4 minutes to.
I think again, it's something quite surprising. I said it last week that I was surprised that he didn't even start then. I think he only played about 10 minutes last week. It's been the same front two. I know Ewan came in today, but same sort of rotating cast between Bowie and Boyle played twice a week. Yeah, at least an hour a time as well. I know Boyle played about half an hour today for Ewan, but I think it's a bit strange spending the money that he spent on him, and he's only probably played about 40 minutes total for him so far.
Yeah, he's not had too much an opportunity. I mean, I think part of that over the last few weeks is that Bowie and Boyle have been really effective. In different ways. They've both scored goals. They've both turned on some really good performances. And I think David Gray, he's always been, he's been quite consistent. And that when players come in, if they're not quite, at the desired level of sharpness, fitness, or where he wants them to be, or if he doesn't feel they're quite settling into the team as yet. Obviously, it's a Clige's coming over here from Switzerland. He's coming to a new country, new city, new teammates. He's got to get used to. I think David Gray said he's got to get used to my accent and how I like. So it's a lot for him to adjust to. But I think it is just the nature of football that it's inevitable when whoever you're playing for, if the club makes a club record signing, there is immediately more attention on that player. Just that is just the nature of the game. Obviously, David Gray and Clige himself, they have not decided how much Luzerne wanted Hibs to pay. So in terms of the price tag, great. He's maybe not going to treat him any differently from anyone else. But it's I think it's not. You can understand fans who, if they see a guy coming in for £1 million plus, they kind of want to see him come in and make an immediate impact, don't they? And then it can look a wee bit if he's not really getting that opportunity from the outset. I mean, you would expect him to make impact as the season goes on, wouldn't you? But we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose.
I think I said during the game, I'm getting a bit apprehensive that it turns out a bit like Melkison, when you hold him back for that long. I think it builds up the expectations so much. It's like, oh, he's not ready, so he's not going to play. But then, what is it going to look like when he is ready? If you hold him back for this long, you can expect the fireworks when he does first play. You got that with Melkison for his debut, and then he never matched up to what was expected of afterwards. Because I think I remember that Melbourne game. You can expect that 2 goals to be what it
The start
was.
of
You
something,
don't want Clean to fall in that same bracket where you expect to be one of the best strikers in the league.
Yeah,
off the bat.
exactly. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there for today, folks. We do need to get down to David Gray's post-match press conference. It'll be interesting to see what he makes of that game today, because he generally offers a pretty honest and kind of fair assessment of how games have gone, whether that's good or bad. So we'll be hearing from him shortly. But yeah, all round a pretty frustrating afternoon for Hibs. Started off so well in such promising fashion, and then to be a bit of a throwback to some of the less enjoyable days of last season, where these advantages and leads were squandered with regularity. So let's hope it's just a blip in the road. I think this team have sort of earned, faith that a faith and sort of that it is just a blip in the road. But we'll see what Gray's got to say after the game. Thank you for joining us as always, folks. Despite the result, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon, myself and Craig Nisbet, for a more in-depth analysis of the game. So do tune in for that. But until then, take care, and we'll speak to you again very soon. Cheers.